Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Tammy Knock, and I am a certified health coach with Optavia. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We are going to be doing a little bit of training this evening on getting back to basics. I have been coaching for a little over 4 years. I started my journey a little over 5 years ago, so I didn't start coaching right away. But once I realized that I needed some extra accountability, I jumped right in and got started helping my girlfriends, especially those. They were the ones who I kept trying to refer to my health coach, but they never called her. They were just waiting for me to pull the trigger and become a health coach. So I did that, and the rest is history. I was able to get such a jump on my Optavia career. I was a former chef. Pastry was my concentration, but it was long hours. I didn't get to spend very much time with my son, and I found that I was able to grow my business very quickly by sticking to these basic things that we are going to be going over tonight. The first person that we have that's going to share with us this evening is one of the most beautiful people that you'll ever meet. It's Miss Amy Watts. And Amy, hang on one second. I think that I need to unmute you. Or actually, let's do that. All right. Amy, if you're out there, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Got it.
Well, Yay. Welcome.
Thank you. Yay, I'm excited to share. Sorry, I'm like trying to move my screen and I'm pointing right at my camera. Well, thanks, Tammy, and I appreciate the opportunity to share tonight and assist with the training. And just to give you all a little backstory, it's been a while since I've shared on our trainings, but just to give you a little bit of kind of where I came from and how I kind of fit into Optavia. So I started my journey. I actually reached out 5.5 years ago. So at the time, I had a little bit of a weight loss goal, but more importantly, I was told by my doctor that I was pre-diabetic. So it just went to show that diabetes does not discriminate. I was not even considered in an unhealthy BMI. However, after having my fourth child and really losing track of my health, just needed a lot of help getting back. And I needed to get out of the pantry with my chocolate milk balls because I have a major sugar addiction. So, hopped on board the program almost immediately. It did not take me long to figure out that this was going to be a good fit for me because the nutrition part of it really paralleled what I did prior to my fourth child when I was in my crazy workout phase that had my nutrition under control. So clearly I didn't have my nutrition under control when I reached out to my coach, but you know, she lovingly guided me back into routine and habit. And I was able to not only reach my 10-pound weight loss goal, I actually doubled it and I lost 20 pounds in 2 months. And, you know, on my frame, it was quite noticeable. So I had a lot of people noticing and asking me what I was doing. And I just chose to send a lot of referrals to my coach every time she'd come back and ask me if I was ready to start coaching. And it took me 5 no's before I said yes. And when I finally did, I had no idea what I was truly saying yes to. And, you know, 5 years later, I've been coaching now for almost 5 years, coming up next month. And it's just been incredible to not only play a key role in other people's transformations, but really for my own personal journey and staying accountable to myself and being able to keep the weight off, staying well below the pre-diabetic range. I love going into my biometric screening every year because my doctor's like, you're healthy. I don't know what else to do with you, but I'm like, yes. So anyway, you know, as I started coaching, you know, I just like all of us started at the very beginning. And, you know, 5 years later, I found that over the years, you know, I have some peak times and some that are a little bit more quiet. And so what I wanted to just chat with you a little bit about is really like if you get to a point where you feel stuck in your business, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe throw, a one in the chat if you've ever felt stuck in your business. But I think a lot of times when we get to a point where we're like, well, what do I do? Even for those of us that have been coaching for quite some time, we still have moments where we feel stuck. Maybe you're a brand new coach where you're like, gosh, I've gone through my training, maybe I've reached senior coach, but I kind of just feel like I'm stuck right now. And so I'm going to share with you a secret. So listen in, this is really important. The secret to getting past that is to go back to the simple system that we know that works, which means going back to the basics. And what basics I'm talking about specifically would be the 3, 3, and 3. You guys, I have to tell you, when I started coaching, the 3, 3, and 3 was not even in anybody's vocabulary back then. So, we've kind of evolved quite a bit. And so thank heavens that we have that now, because that really gives us direction and some structure on where to start with our business. So most of us choose to use some sort of social media means. And so that's where the 3, 3, and 3, it really comes into play. If you're choosing to use Facebook or Instagram, are you doing your 3 posts a day? Are you doing your 3 friend requests? And are you creating 3 new conversations or relationships? And it really takes the complication out of it, because if we just stick to those simple things, that is what helps grow our business wide. And when we grow our business wide, it naturally will grow deep. Now, granted, we're always sharing the opportunity, the trilogy, the opportunity to coach, because we know how it's changed our lives, and we know that gift is there for other people. But I've been on many trainings where I've heard Terry Miller say, keep growing wide until I tell you to stop. And we know that she's never going to tell us to stop, because there are so many people that need this, and there are so many people that are out there waiting to even hear about coaching, but we will never tap into them if we're not doing the 3, 3, and 3. And so I just encourage you to go back and check, kind of do like a little systems check. First of all, for me, when I get in these moments where I'm like going back, I go through my Facebook page, and in my mind, I'm like, gosh, I totally thought I was doing 3 posts a day, but I've been kind of slacking on it. So it's almost kind of like, am I being honest with myself? And the best way for me to determine if I'm being honest with myself and if I'm actually doing it is to track it. So we have a couple of different ways to do that. You can see on the screen that there's a 3, 3, and 3 calendar. That is a great way to start off, to just fill out your month, check off your 3 posts, check off your 3 friend requests, check off your 3 conversations. And then you've got that visual. And so there's also a more in-depth and detailed way to keep track. If you watched how the Bowens do their system of keeping track, I absolutely love it. It is a little bit more advanced for some newer coaches. The calendar that you're seeing on the screen might be the best fit. But for those of you that really want to take your business to the next level, I encourage you to go back and watch the Bowens training they did a month or 2 ago. And the system that they use, that will really kick it up a notch. But again, it's tracking what you're doing so that you can really be honest with yourself. And I'm a visual person, so tracking really, really helps me in that regard. But no matter how long you've been coaching, the secret to getting over that bump in the road or that hump is to go back to that basic step of doing your 3, 3, and 3. And of the 3, 3, and 3, I have to tell you, in my personal opinion, the conversations are where the gold is. Because if we're not creating those conversations, we're not creating relationship. We could post all day long and we could friend request all day long, but nobody is going to see it if we're not building relationship. And so that's kind of where I focus a little heavier. And, when I get into these ruts and I start getting back in the habit, because I'll be honest with you, there's times that I end up slacking on this because maybe my focus is deeper in my team, or my focus is, in my personal life, it kind of gets a little unbalanced. And and I have those moments of just kind of self-reflection and business reflection. I have those moments where I'm like, okay, am I really doing this? Am I really being intentional with it? It's never too late to go back and do that again. But when and I tell you, there's plenty of times that I lay down at night and I'm, setting my alarm for the next day, checking my calendar for the next day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to do my minimum 3 conversations. You guys, it takes less than 60 seconds to wish 3 people happy birthday via personal message. It literally is a copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Okay, I got it done. I can go to bed. So, love my husband to pieces, but we even had this conversation the other day because he's trying to work in coaching, even though he's got his full-time job and he's traveling a lot of times and stuff like that. He says, gosh, I just find it hard to do that. And I'm like, sweetie, it takes you less than 60 seconds to do those convos. A lot of times it's just out of sight, out of mind. So if it helps you to put a reminder in your phone or to time block that earlier in the day so that if you get off track, you still have the rest of the day to play catch up. One other suggestion is if you want to take your accountability up a notch, maybe reach out to your mentorship team and say, hey, I'm really developing the habit, because we know it's just a habit. Once you've done it for at least a month, now that's just normal routine for you is to do those 3 conversations and your other 3 and 3 parts. But if you need to, tell your coach, hey, I want you to keep me accountable. I'm going to send a message to you after I do those 3 conversations every day. And just like when we're on program and we have that weekly accountability report with our coach, or the first week we're doing daily reports with our clients, it really just solidifies that accountability. So don't forget about that your mentorship team is there to help you and assist you. So another thing to go back to is your map. So there was a picture on there for a second on the map. So if that's new to you, reach out to your business coach. They'll be able to explain to you what the map is, but it is your monthly action plan. And so this will allow you to know, where am I in my current reality right now? And where do I want to be? If I want my business to grow, is my current reality and my projected, what I want for the month, does that match with what my goals are and what I'm hoping to achieve this month? And go back and use that map throughout the month. A messy map is a good map, so use it and abuse it, and invite your mentorship team into your map so that they can kind of look at what you might not be looking at or what you may be missing on that, and they'll be able to fill in some of those gaps and help you throughout the month. If we're looking to go wide, we're always looking to share this gift with more people. And so in that, I would highly recommend having a goal to bring on 2 to 5 new clients per month at least, so minimum. And because we always know and we hope that our clients are reaching transition and transitioning off. And so maybe they're going to go into optimal health mode where their orders are less or whatnot. And so if you're focusing on a frontline volume in particular, you always want to make sure you have the new clients coming on board so that you can meet those goals. And in that, as you're assisting your clients, one thing to always kind of go back to is just maybe do a quick systems check on your client support. What is that looking like? Are we doing it, or are we getting, putting it by the wayside and we're turning into texting clients or whatnot? And so I encourage you to just kind of do a little check on, is there any improvement that I can offer to my client support? Is there any polishing that I can do? Because as you give your clients that rock solid support, guess what, you guys, you are setting yourselves up for referral engines. And so when our clients are happy and they feel that connection with us, and hopefully they're seeing results, they're going to be your referral engines, which of course leads to the opportunity when you receive a referral. Hey, do you want to coach them, or do you want to coach them alongside, or do you want me to coach them, or do you want to coach them alongside me? And now you're opening up the door for creating a team of coaches that you can build depth on, because you guys, we just can't do it all alone. We need coaches to help us because there are so many people that need this in their lives. We can't do it all. So, and then just a couple of other quick things. If you're open to doing a healthy happy hour, that can really create the atmosphere to get you excited about your business again. and be motivated to do these things. And then also just do a quick check on your own health. Am I at an optimal place in my health? Is there any improvement I can have in my health? And again, 5.5 years later, you guys, I have not been 5.5 years worth of optimal health. I have had a few moments, a handful of moments, where I have caught myself getting off track. And so that requires me to be honest with myself. Am I where I need to be? Because other people, as we've heard time and time again, when we're in fat burn, our business is in fat burn. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to physically be in fat burn the rest of your life. But I interpret that as, am I in optimal health? Because when I feel amazing, other people are going to feel that too. If I feel crummy, I'm probably not giving as much to myself, myself to my clients than I probably could, because I kind of feel like crap in the moment. And so, it's just important for us to always be aware of that, conscientious of where we are in our own health. And so the last thing that I would suggest is, especially for you established coaches, I hate to use the word older because we're all getting older, but for those of you that are established, ask yourself this: if I could go back and talk to me as a brand new coach, what advice would I give myself? And whatever that advice is, take it and run with it. Because most of us probably have some things, just even in general life, we all can look back and, hindsight is 2020. So just go and revisit yourself as a brand new coach. What would you change? What would you improve? What would you maybe do differently, and implement that? But you guys, it's not rocket science, but it does take consistency to get past these bumps in the road, build our businesses, and really just go back to the basics. And the basics are never going to change. So there's not going to be a magic, just like in our program, there's not a magic pill. There's not going to be a magic answer or anything new that is going to come up that maybe your mentor has been hiding from you, that they're going to share with you. All of the secrets are everything that we keep hearing about over and over again, but sometimes we just may kind of lose sight of them. So I just challenge you all to just kind of take a step out of your sphere, look at where you're at, where you want to be, make those changes, polish off those areas that you see can have some improvement, and go get them, guys.
Amy, that was amazing. Thank you so much. The chat is going crazy. There was a couple of questions about, like, what do the conversations look like when you're starting your 3, 3, and 3? It doesn't have to be something out of the ordinary. It is literally, if it's somebody that you haven't seen in a while, have a very authentic conversation with them. And ask them how their family is doing if you haven't talked to them in a while. Like Amy suggested, wishing happy birthday is amazing, but you want to make it sound like you. We're not going to go straight into sales pitch mode. We don't do that as Optivians. We put our hearts first, and we care about the people that we get involved with. This is a relationship business, which kind of leads us to our second speaker. Rebecca, I'm going to unmute you. Rebecca Zemmelman is a brand new health coach. Well, not too brand new, but she is, let's see here, sorry about this. Let me share here. She's been coaching for a few months, and she is just going crazy with helping all of her friends. So Rebecca, come on. I think I took you off mute.
Yeah, I think I'm unmuted.
Awesome.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca. Like Tammy said, I've been coaching for about 4 or 5 months at this point. And a little bit, I think Tammy wanted me to share a little bit about my story first. So I have been kind of doing I feel like a pretty typical story from before Optavia, which was, I did kind of every program under the sun, not to call out programs to say they're bad because something works for everyone, but I did the Weight Watchers, I did the Beachbody, I did You know, the keto, I tried and kind of failed at most things. And I wasn't getting that weight back off like I used to be able to do just by working out. I needed a change in my nutrition. And so I don't know what's happening.
Oh, just go ahead and continue. I think it was.
So, so a couple of my friends through Tammy, had started Optavia and just looked phenomenal, but it felt like a lot of money early on. And I was doing all these workouts, but I think it came to a place of like, all right, what did you guys do? Because have been working out for an hour a day, 6 days a week, and I've seen zero difference. And so finally I got I got connected with Tammy, and right away I just started losing weight. I was all in. At this point, I'm down about a little over 25 pounds, and I have about 20 more to go to get to my goal. So I started coaching pretty much right away. I teach some workout classes at the gym, so I've always kind of been about health and fitness. But my full-time job is I'm an attorney, and so I had a little bit of insecurity, I think, posting about things online as I'm in my third year of practicing, and in a private practice law firm. I didn't necessarily want to post a whole lot on social media about a different business because, quite frankly, I didn't want people who were referring as I was building my private practice in law to think that I wasn't doing well in that practice and needing a second side business. But I still wanted to share my journey. So it took me a really long time to work up to this. And Tammy, I feel like, is laughing because she was like, it's okay. Like that's not an assumption people will make. And I've shared about 2 of my own transformation pictures on my Instagram stories. And I swear I was like, oh my gosh, to Tammy, because I had like 27 messages with my first post from just friends of mine who were like, all right, tell me what you're doing. And I had like 5 new clients almost instantly. And I feel like, so I listed a couple of things. Tammy, I don't know if it's,
Rebecca, I think you accidentally muted yourself.
okay. Is that better? Okay. I think it said it all muted. Anyway, so I made a list of about 10 things of things that I thought as kind of a newer client, as well as a newer coach, as well as just somebody who's on Instagram, on social media quite often, millennial, as what I like and what I think appeals to me from a client perspective, and also what's worked for me, just getting some of my friends within my own network to get on programs. So I think that list is there. What I said was to be vulnerable and be open about your vulnerability. I think when I see somebody who's posting constantly about their like perfect bodies and they all seem perfect and they're not that open about, this is kind of vulnerable that I'm even posting about this, much less like that I'm opening up about my body and stuff like that. I think when you're vulnerable about the post, I think people will appreciate that more because it seems more authentic and it seems more like a personable type of connection that people aren't as intimidated to then kind of approach you about. The second one I said was to be non-judgmental and encouraging. I think a lot of people, from what I've seen, I've always been really open about any health program I'm on, but what I found is a lot of my friends that are doing this have never been open about their weight, about their goals or anything before. And so to be non-judgmental, I think, is really key. The third one is to find some common ground between your journey and theirs. Again, kind of similar to my first note, my first and second, which is to just find something that connects you with that other person. In my family law practice, it's kind of the same as when we're trying to find a common ground here. It's what really makes people open up and feel more comfortable. It's kind of a mediation tactic that I use. So it's a very similar type of person-to-person kind of feeling. I think being real and not being salesy is really important to, not necessarily just look on a script, but rather be really authentic in your conversations. Have fun with the initial conversation, especially when these are your friends. I mean, I use it as an excuse to catch up with a lot of friends too, and just like hang out, talk to them on the phone for a while, and then get down to what this is and what's working. I would say being positive is really important, even if you're not feeling positive that day. I think it's kind of like putting on a first impression for this program. Putting on a first impression for yourself, you really have to be positive. I know I'm running out of time. So last couple of things, show your leadership skills right away. I think if you put forth that effort as a leader right away and show them that you're going to be there for them, they'll trust you and trust the process right away. Make those people feel that they're not alone. Again, sharing your story, making yourself be a part of this program with them, introducing them to different groups that they can join on social media. Be authentic in your wording. Kind of goes back to having fun with the initial conversation, but again, not necessarily using all the keywords. You can throw in some of them because, right, trust the system, trust, what the stuff that we have at our disposal. But, if it's one of your good friends, just be authentic in your wording. This is my cat. And then last one is just a no pressure attitude. I think there's so much sales stuff going around that just, share with them this beautiful thing that we've all found, as opposed to trying to sell them. And I think it's probably going to end up selling itself. So that's all I have for today. Sorry.
That was amazing, Rebecca. That was a great list, and you do these things so well. Thank you so much for that. All right, our next speakers, well, actually, it's John and Michelle. I'm sorry, John, I left you off on this thing here. I think that I need to unmute you guys. All right.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome. We'll take it away.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, thank you, Tammy, for inviting us to come and speak tonight. It's been a pleasure. Let's see. We started our program on the journey last spring. Started with my mom, who started on a program in January of last year, and I started watching her melt. The picture on the left there is last March, and the picture on the right is from this past February. And so we started program April 22nd, and so we're coming up almost on our year anniversary. I'm still not to goal weight, but I was 421 pounds there, and I have lost 189 pounds to date. And so I still have a little bit left still to go to my goal, But it's been a fantastic journey. And John, he's in maintenance now, so he's down 100 pounds. So we've learned a lot. Obviously, being very supportive with my mom being on program, and then the two of us started, and then a month later, then my sister and her fiance started. So, and my whole family's all over 100 pounds down. So it's been a kind of a family affair as we've gone through this program. And John and I decided to become coaches in beginning of June of last year. And just because for me, and I'll let John kind of give his thoughts around it, but for me, I was so inspired, like where, you know, things were going so well in those first month or so. And I felt like I needed to share this with the world. You know, I felt like I had stumbled upon a miracle of something that actually can work. You know, like so many of us have tried so many things. You know, I did the working out thing. I've done all kinds of different programs. I've struggled with my weight since high school, you know, before that. So it's just been a struggle. And so to find something, I felt really compelled to share it with the world. And that's why I wanted to do it. So that was my main reason. But John, you want to give your reason?
Well, my reason was mostly you, actually, because we were down in our basement getting ready for a garage sale, and Michelle saw one of her favorite coats that she was no longer able to wear, and she just started crying, and I felt very sad that she wasn't able to wear that anymore because it's been in there for some time. So her mom was there with us, and her mom basically gave us both a big hug and said, "Let me get you in touch with my coach." So we started the journey then, and like you said a little bit ago, I've lost over 100 pounds, or about 100 pounds. And I am actually lighter than what I was when I was in high school, even when I started high school. So that's amazing right there. So,
and when did you start coaching?
Oh, thank you. So I was at a Health and Hope event, and I was just listening to everybody talk, and it just made me feel inspired. And I was like, I got to pass this on. I can't keep this a secret. I can't keep this to myself. I got to help as many people as I can. I got to get this out there because that's what I am. I'm a helper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's kind of our story. And what we wanted to try to share with you guys today is a little bit around some other, you know, things that we've learned along the way. So high level, you know, being a servant leader is really key. And so, you know, one of the early on things that I remember getting kind of focused on was sometimes it gets really hard to start focusing on, you know, the number of clients and trying to be the business, you know, side of my brain was, okay, this was that. And then it was, you know, in my mentorship had to remind me, Michelle, like it will come. Don't get so bogged down with the numbers and things, but go out and just help people and lead from your heart. And so that's really huge. And a different way to spin it. And so if you're leading from your heart, the rest will follow. And so these are some ideas around of being that servant leader that can really help. And so one of the things that I thought was interesting that I've learned, especially more recently as I've been gaining more clients and outside of my initial scope of people that I know. So every client is unique in what they need and how they need it. I mean, they learn differently. Their support system is slightly different. So we all have this system, but sometimes it needs to be adapted a little bit to what they might need and how they learn. But you try to do that without sacrificing yourself and pulling yourself in too many directions, but understanding that everyone is different and don't try to put them in a box. And then being creative, again, to that point around understanding everybody's a little different, but being creative and ensuring that they know and they understand that there are 4 pillars to this habits of health system. And if you let any of those pillars of that house fall down, like it's not going to sustain and do what we try to help our clients to do. And so, you know, one of the things that I'll just kind of give as an example that we found very, very quickly. So we're in June, you know, we're new coaches. And I was like, you know what? I haven't really picked up that book yet. And, I've been so successful, just following the nutrition plan and this and that, but I'm like, really not great at that. And so we decided that, we're going to start a book club. And so we started a Habits of Health book club, and have Zoom calls of our own. And because if I wasn't reading it, my clients aren't going to read it. And I can't, you have to, live it out loud and actually do what you're trying to tell them to do. And so it kind of puts it in a way that they, like book clubs typically can be, they can either read it or not, but we at least have a conversation around the topics of each of the chapters. And because, we only went so far, you don't have to read the book cover to cover. We've gone to like chapter 11 and then started over again because I didn't have anybody in transition yet. So we just kept repeating. And so as, okay, now I've got a couple people in transition who are, on the call, and as we're learning together. So John and another one of my clients, they were kind of going in transition a little bit at the same time, and being able to learn from them. And so it's been really good as a way to kind of help to deepen that community relationship. And being on a Zoom call again, like clients can be anywhere. And I, record them so that people can still go back to them, that whole idea. But really, and again, just putting it out there, I don't always have a ton of people that show up, but having it out there, it shows in consistency and being able to say, hey, this is something that's really important, and letting them know that education piece is so key to making sure that this is sustainable long-term. And so, so that's just one idea that I've put out there, to be creative around making sure that all four of these pillars are you're coaching to. And again, from the servant leader side, just, support people, don't push it. Ask them how you can help them. Sometimes, we might be like, this is what we do, but sometimes you might just need to ask, what can I do to help you? I had a client who had started, at the beginning of the year, and she'd, done okay, but kind of off and on, that type of thing. And then she finally came to me at the beginning of March and said, Michelle, do you mind if I text you every day and tell, so I can keep more accountable? It worked for me a lot better right in the beginning, and once a week just isn't enough for me right now. And so, we set up another, sure, whatever you need, let's figure it out. So, and that's really been able to help her to hone in. And so you just have to understand what you can do to help each client. Like I said, everybody's unique. And we've mentioned this earlier. The last point here on servant leader is just having a heart, and leading with your heart will, it won't lead you wrong in that, when we're trying to do this client support. Let's see. So Amy had mentioned this a little bit earlier, but leading by example, living your journey out loud is really key. I know that right now it's been really easier for me because I'm still on my journey, and I'll still be on my journey through until, my goal is to by convention to be at my goal weight, guys. That's my goal. But, I still have at least 5 months left on this journey. And so that's, for me lately, that's been really easier to kind of share my journey. But at the same time, I know, still being able to share other people's journeys and understanding and living that out loud, and using the 333 to kind of help promote that, especially if I'm no longer on my journey anymore. But then also being open about your struggles and your successes, not only with your, if you're either in the client support pages, and what you're being able to put out there is if you are on the client support page and putting out what's real and helping to answer questions and things like that, anybody else that you might have added to those client support pages are also going to be seeing that, hey, you know what, this person knows what they're talking about, they're supportive. And so that helps you, whether it's your client or potential client or anybody else out there. And so that's really huge, of supporting others, and just leading by example. And then the final, main idea is just around being organized. This is one thing that, there's lots and lots of tools and ways that you can do this, and everybody's going to have their own kind of way of doing it. But overarching of being organized, because everybody is busy. You're going to get busy. Your clients' lives are busy. And if you have a plan, it helps. Just like with having a plan, we teach on the health side. If you have a plan, you can, you have a plan, you can execute to it, and it'll keep you on track. And the same thing is with this business. You can't just expect it to just happen. You do have to have some type of organization, and the map is very good that Amy had mentioned earlier, in that plan to kind of keep you accountable even to yourself. And then, but the other thing that I had to do in the second bullet point is, so I got to, more recently got to a certain point where I'm like, wait, I used to just pick whatever day was best in the week for my clients to do these coaching calls. And I was just all over the place, different times, and it was stressing me out because I'd either miss a call or I'd have something come up and I'm like, whoa, this is just, and I had too much time away from my family. And I said, okay, I need to narrow that scope down and choose, one day. I used to be able to make those calls on my way home from work. I have a 40-minute commute, but it got to be where I have more clients than what 40 minutes can handle. So I've kind of rearranged that a little bit. So I've set up expectations up front when I do the calls, and I tell new clients that, hey, my coaching calls are on Monday, maybe Tuesday, but primarily on Monday. And then would they just know that, okay, sometime in that evening after 6 o'clock, that's when I'll start making those phone calls. And so that's helped me out a lot. So then I actually have time for myself, or have an event, or I have something I can plan. This is what's going on Monday nights for me personally. So that's something I definitely can recommend to you, is to try to be organized in that, and don't sacrifice yourself and your time. Be diligent around that. And then finally, follow through with what you say. If you tell them that you're going to do something, or email them some information, or whatever it is, you want to follow through, because you're building that trust. Like Rebecca talked about, you have to be trustworthy in all aspects. And if you're talking with people that are new, you have to be able to build that trust. That's what I have.
Wow, that was amazing, Michelle. You just knocked that out of the park. I hope y'all are taking notes. If not, we'll make sure that these slides are up in Echol's organization files. And this leads perfectly, because once you have great client support, what is going to just naturally happen is being able to bring those people on as health coaches. And so our next speaker is Monisa. And I'm going to unmute you, Monisa. Come on in and share with everyone.
Great. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I've got my timer set. I'm going to go fast. I just wanted to let everyone know that we could do an entire presentation, the entire hour, on the sponsoring mindset. So I'm going to go super fast. If there's parts that you need follow up with, please check in with your mentor. Okay. So thank you, Tammy. And I've been taking notes, everyone. Great information. So what are we talking about? A sponsoring mindset. What does that really mean? It's an established set of attitudes and being able to overcome a set of obstacles. And I think this is a great topic. I love talking about it because I really know what that is. I did not have my mindset for sponsoring. I thought I did when I first started coaching. My coaching journey started 4 years, my client journey started over 4 years ago. 2 weeks in, I said, sign me up. I'm going to help change the world. And I haven't looked back since, but it took me a long time to understand what it meant to be in a sponsoring mindset. So if you can advance to that next slide, Tammy, that'd be great. Okay, so if you want to expand this mission that we have through Optavia, then that means you will want to help more people. Physically, we can only help so many people. We're one person. There's only so many hours in the day. And the best thing we can do is invite a client to help coach their friends and family, because basically their friends and family are probably not going to call us anyway. The stats I see personally are about 8 out of 10 people they refer never call. So if we really want to expand our mission, then offering coaching is one of the best ways to do that. So even if you're not in a growth mindset and you're happy where your business is, I just want to make the point that it's still important to consider where the trilogy fits in with your clients. Maybe you're not in a growth mode right now, but them finding a fit for coaching will completely change their journey. So please keep that in mind. The trilogy just not apply to growth mindset coaches. Okay, so I got that out there. I was an ED by volume coach and had lots and lots of clients, but no coaches. So I understand what this flip looks like. Here are some obstacles that were important for me to overcome, and maybe some of these will ring true. The first one is super coaching. And super coaching happens when you're absolutely in love with coaching. You're so excited, you can't stand it, and you want to help as many people as possible. When you are out there with your business and you're asking all of your clients about coaching, and you're hearing no over and over, if you're hearing no, no, I don't think so, no, then that could be a clue that you might be super coaching. So what does that mean? What is super coaching all about? It means that your clients think that what you do is so amazing and awesome that they could never, ever begin to do what you do. Well, now, why would they think that? Okay, here's some problems with super coaching. You may be spoon feeding your clients all of the information because you want them to succeed. You're handing them charts. You're answering text in 3.1 seconds. You're showing them what the condiments are. You're sending them recipes. You are just Johnny on the spot. And it's because you want success and because you love the program. Well, that is a setup for, oh my goodness, I could never know what you know. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever done that. Started out being super coach. So the next thing you can do is make your check-in calls too long. And because a good check-in call on a routine call should be about 3 to 5 minutes. And it's about accountability, it's about support and working through any questions. It's easy to have a little bit of scope creep and maybe a little bit of quasi-counseling. And guess what? That takes more than 3 to 5 minutes. And guess what? We're not qualified to do that. That's not what we're trained to do. I'm not saying that if a client's having a struggle that it would take longer. It will, no question. So, but systematically being quick is going to be how your clients want to answer your call when you call. So, but if they think it's a 20-minute or a 30-minute call, they're not going to take your call. Think about being a lighthouse to your clients instead of a tugboat. Not dragging them to their goal, but actually being a beacon and a source of information and guidance. And that will help keep you in your lane and not veer over into super coaching. The other thing I wanted to say was, I came from a background of being an entrepreneur and problem solving, and, it was my brain and all these things. So I wanted to take that same mindset and apply it to this business. Well, let me tell you, there are other things you can do with your mind and your creativity besides reworking the system. It's going to slow you down and it's going to waste your time when you could be focusing on other things like client support and being efficient and the sponsoring mindset. So don't rework the system. It works the way it is. It's so simple, it's kind of shocking at times. So the solution to all of this is keeping it simple. Another obstacle that I ran into was feeling like I needed coaches. I felt a lot of pressure. Oh my goodness, I've got all these clients and nobody wants to coach and I need some coaches. That right in there, if you get a pit in your stomach when it's time to talk about coaching, that tells you that you need coaches, and that's the wrong mindset. That's the obstacle. What needs to happen is you need to find people who need coaching in their life. So it's kind of like a big flip and a switch that you make mentally. So just kind of like when you were first offering 5-in-1, it was a little awkward. You felt a little weird asking if they were ready to jump on a program. Maybe you were worried about the cost. Same thing with a coaching mindset. You have to be so comfortable in what coaching can do for their health journey that it's in their best interest. It has nothing to do with your interest, nothing at all. It's in their best interest. And when you can make that switch, then you're in a sponsoring mindset. And you'll hear some different answers when you make that mental switch. Another point I want to make is just like when you do a health assessment, you're not concerned about what the outcome of that assessment is. You might have a hope, but you're not worried about it. Same thing when you do a Coach Explore. Be focused on what the opportunity that you get to explore, not on whether they're going to say yes or no at the end of the call. I promise you, they will pick up on that. They'll hear it in your voice, and it will just kind of throw the call off balance. So when you know coaching is in their best interest, that's how you combat and you have the solution to this obstacle, not that it's in your best interest. Also, fear is an overriding piece to all of these obstacles. And just recognize your fear, and the way you work through your fears, and there's lots of fears, there's a whole list of them, and I think we could put a lot in the chat, but you work through your fear with action. So replace your fear with, and fear of a new job, fear of your identity, fear of people thinking you're trying to sell them something, fear of people getting upset about seeing your post. Replace that fear with the love of creating health for yourself and others. You do that with action, and you invest in your own personal growth. These kind of trainings, all of our recordings, self-improvement, self-help books. Ask your mentors what books they recommend you read. I'm trying to read a book every 2 to 3 weeks, and it makes a huge, huge difference in my mindset. Also, work with your mentorship. They're not mind readers. Tell them that you need help. They can't just guess that you need help. So I have a couple more things, but we can call it quits right here if you've got someone else that needs to jump on.
That was amazing, Mooney. So you got everything just like all condensed in there. That's amazing. Well, and this leads us into the final speaker's subject, and that is managing disappointment. Because if you are not connected to the outcome, then you won't be disappointed. But we all get a little disappointed sometime. And the next person that's coming on, Brandy, I got you there. Okay. Oops.
Good to go?
You're good. Yes, you are. Go ahead.
So I have been accused of talking fast, so I guess it's really good in this situation. For inviting me to share just a quick little bit about me, very short. My name is Brandy Carroll. I'm a certified health coach. I became a health coach the same day I started program. Not a few people I heard have done that, but overall, I had done everything and never been successful, and I lost an average of 39 pounds in 4 months. So it's been the best decision of my life. My husband is home coaching full time, but I really wanted to touch on managing disappointments, because this early on really affected me in everything that I did for our business. And in my life in general, disappointments, they're inevitable. There is no way that it's not just in your business, it's in all areas. And it's really crucial that you learn how to manage those for long-term success. Early on in our business, I took everything personally. Every canceled health assessment, every client who didn't continue, every unanswered phone call, every month we didn't hit a rank or FIBC or whatever it was we were working for, every coach that we had sponsored that didn't do anything, all of it. I had no idea how to manage my disappointment in that, and it did cause a lot of pain. And I want to help as many of you as I can work through that. Maybe you've heard a lot of no's or not yet, or no's, but remember those are not yets. So just keep those people on your heart. But friends, we have some lofty goals. We're all on this call because we want to change lives. We want to create freedom. for ourselves and other people, and nothing worth having comes easily. So it's something to remember that we're all going to have these disappointments come up. One of our amazing leaders, Dan Valentine did a really short video on managing disappointment. And he stated, and this is so true for me, that disappointment can be paralyzing. We may not really recognize it at the time, but you can put a 1 in the chat if you've ever been paralyzed by disappointment before. But it is one of those things that can really affect you to the core. And you kind of get into that negative self-talk. What did I do wrong? Why am I not moving forward? Am I not good enough? If someone's not ready, that's not on you. It's not the end of the world. One person will not make or break your business. If you didn't reach exactly what you wanted, it's okay. That opportunity is not just going to go away. Every business in itself has cycles, including ours. And so keep that in mind as you're moving forward. We all have heard the obstacle is the way. And so embrace that obstacle. Every setback, everything that we encounter, all of those things have a lesson for you to learn from. And it's all about learning that lesson, moving on, and turning back to help someone else who has gone through those same things. That's what we do with our coaches. That's what our mentorship team does for us. We embrace those obstacles because we know we're going to learn from them, and we're able to help others through it. So just a couple minutes left, but I want to go through my tips real quick. A couple practical things. So what do you do when it sets in? So take a moment to recognize it. Just trying to brush it off or really just shove it down deep, it's not going to be in your best interest. Let it sink in, and then find a way to reattach your why and move forward. Revisit your why. Maybe you'll have to tweak something to move forward, but ask yourself, okay, that happened. How can I learn from it and move forward? Just remember, it's a small bump. Don't let that be destructive for you. Don't take it personally. And then the second step, the second tip is going to be to create massive action. Step up your game and change your focus. Why? Because wins are what you need. Everyone needs wins when they're disappointed. You can't get your head right, get moving forward if you're not getting excited about something. I had someone that I was really excited about to join as a client because I know they needed it, and they decided not to, and that was really disappointing. So you know what? I turned around and I messaged, started building relationships with 40 more people. That was exciting because then I'm having all these wins of these new people that I'm just creating relationship with. That massive action helped to change my focus. And it helped move me forward and push me through. Starting more conversations, doing more follow-ups, writing down what you're thankful for, the small things there, putting on some Beyonce, as Rachel Hollis says, doing whatever makes your heart happy. Use that. And then my third tip is to create an environment of positivity. So family, friends, a war room, letting pictures of things, music, podcasts, books, any of those things that really puts your mind in that positive place and helps you move forward. Just to end real quick, I have 2 quotes that have really helped me by my girl, Rachel Hollis. You're not in control of what life throws at you, but you are in control of the fight. We are all in control of our own fight. And the second quote is, some days you feel so discouraged you want to cry. Go ahead, cry. Rend your garments and wail to the heavens like some biblical mourner. Get it all out, then dry your eyes, wash your face, and keep going. We have an amazing mission. We are seeking and achieving freedom and abundance that others are praying for. We cannot give this gift and show up as our best if we are allowing the disappointments of our life to keep us down. All right, I have 1 minute left and I'm done.
That was amazing. Mic drop. That's amazing, Brandy. I want to say thank you to all of the speakers this evening. You know, Amy, thank you. Rebecca, Michelle and John, Munisa and Brandy. You guys are amazing. We are all better together. Just remember, everyone, that life is going to happen. It's going to happen. But you need to make the decision to continue to move forward with things. And I have actually, I wanted to end on this one slide. I was hoping that we had time for it. This is a quote from Dr. A. And just remember, you know, like as you move forward, you know, the universe does not have favorites. Sometimes, you know, it seems like things are going easier for others and harder for you. You know, we don't know what's going on with other people. Do not compare your reality to other people's reality. And just remember that maybe that other person's having a little bit more success than you are because they are getting out of their own way. They are willing to be uncomfortable. They are willing to give up the good for the great for a little while. You can do that too. You just need to decide that you are going to do it. And as Dr. A says right here, there is a higher version of yourself on the other side of all of this. And it is available to every single one of us out there. So get out of your way, go out there, and let's help Dr. A get the United States healthy, but also get the world healthy. Thank you all for coming tonight, and it was my pleasure to host. Take care.